intro alone on their head, come on, man. The horns, that dramatic, you know what I'm saying? Like, John Doe, I want to use that shit for the intro to the show. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? He said, back on their head like dandruff, don't know who they playing with. My man's put holes in your leather like Stan Smith.
I said, you got stripes, too. See, it be a little bit more to it. I just said, you got stripes, but my man that poke holes in your leather, Stan Smith. So the stripes is a part of it, too, because it's like double entendre, like stripes in the streets, but also stripes like the Stan Smiths.
Yeah.
So, but we say those lyrics so casually and so easily that they breeze by a lot of people. But people like yourself and other lyric lovers, they double take, like, what did he just say? You know what I'm saying? And that's really why the basis of the art Big Head Science is about pushing for wordplay and lyricism.
Right.
The art, the piece that I drew is mainly focused on, let me show some new, not necessarily new patterns, but let me show how to exploit some of these patterns that cats ain't getting the best out of, and let me show some new ways to drop metaphors without saying like all the time. So just like the one you cited, I changed the metaphor into a simile because I would have said like Stan Smith, but I said think Stan Smith. Right. And that was my poetic license in changing, because people don't offer these things to other artists. Like, how do you change a metaphor to a simile? There are only certain ways to do this with certain key words, and you got to be a wordsmith to know how to do it. But there's one. Any metaphor that you could say like in, any simile that you can going to say like in, you can change it to a metaphor by saying think. Because a simile is a comparison that requires you say like something else. It's a thought comparison. So if I was to say like Stan Smith's, it's a simile. But if I say think Stan Smith's, it's a thought comparison. It's a metaphor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So John Doe, you brought up Barcode, another one of my favorites off of that album. But yo, Casual, you mentioned back at that time when Biggie and Diddy were really rocking, that you could have signed. I mean, we need to hear a little bit more of that story, bro.
That's, well, you know, that's something I'm proud to say, that a lot of people told me Biggie was a fan of mine, and it's something I regret that I never got to meet him. You know what I'm saying? But I got told by the person who introduced Biggie to Puffy, Matty C. Matty C came out here in '93 trying to sign me, and just was dealing with me. And Matty vouched for this. Anybody could tag him in this video or whatever. And he told me that Biggie used to pull up on the corner in Brooklyn and look at everybody out there wilding and be like, what y'all know about this? And would turn up Casual. You see what I'm saying?
There you go.
So that felt really good to me. And then to put it down in it, all the way down to my publishing statements, where I see The Wickedest, which is a song of Mr. C's mixtape or whatever, where Biggie Smalls rapped over my I Didn't Mean To song that I produced and did.
God damn.
And so that's an honor of the greatest magnitude, to have a legend like that choose, you know, to spit over whoever chose it, whether Mr. C chose it, but that didn't happen to too many other artists in hip hop. Who got Biggie freestyling to their beat? Really freestyling to it, that they didn't go mix on Pro Tools. And so that was an honor. But whether I could have signed with them or not, they never made me no offers. That's just me talking my talk. And Puffy gonna chuckle at stuff like that, because he'd be like, he said that because he somehow know.
He'll know. Yeah, so that sort of leads me into a question that I have. So there's certain MCs that are like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, right? And I feel like you're one of those dudes. Like, people, just this Biggie story is a perfect example of that. It's just like, if you went up to a signed, like, known MC and were like, yo, what do you think of Casual? And they would be like, yo, Smash Rockwell is killing it every time. You know what I mean? So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I've heard people talk about that. So my question for you is, like, who that you still haven't collaborated with on a sort of like a known level is somebody that you, like, sort of look at in that same light, that you're like, now that's a rapper that I would, like, feel like is a challenge for me. You know what I mean?
A lot of the people I even mentioned are a challenge for me. Like, if I ever, like, I remember Jada Kiss put out that battle thing for $500,000 and I accepted it. I don't